Tonight on News 5 Live, the Chamber of Commerce remains hopeful that its concerns regarding the payment of overtime wages on Monday will be resolved. Shine chides the monarch. The leader of the opposition says it is time for Belize to fully move away from the colonial system. And it's back after 2 years of being held virtually. The National Children's Rally returns with a bang in Belize City. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Digi outside with deals you can't miss at the Expo Grounds on September 17th and 18th. Big savings on the hottest selection of LTE devices starting as low as $99 cash. Top up $20 with your device purchase and get 3 GB LTE data plus 1 month DigiTV free. Get any Samsung device on our affordable payment plan starting as low as $22 monthly. Come make the switch, trade in your working device and active SIM from the other guys and get a free Samsung A03 core with SIM. The deal's not done yet. Sign up for DigiTV and get 4 months free. Or get free installation, no deposit, and the first 3 months at half off when you sign up for any DigiNet Boost plans. To top it off, every phone purchase and service sign-up gives you a chance to be one of 4 lucky winners of a 55, 43, or 32-inch TV. Double up and DigiWallet offers only at the grounds. Booth opens at 8 a.m. each day. Don't miss it.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. To be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent. We're free and independent. Free and independent. We're changing our country, we're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, September 16th. I am Annalyn Apolonio. The business community remains optimistic that a recent request made to the Ministry of Labor regarding Monday's public and bank holiday will be resolved amicably. On Wednesday, Chief Executive Officer Valentino Schall responded to a letter written by the President of the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry in which concerns were raised in respect of wages to be paid to employees on September 19th. That date, as many are aware, has been designated as one-off holiday in observance of the Queen's funeral. While the Chamber acknowledges the significance of that day across the Commonwealth, it is worried that business owners will find themselves in a financial bind where the payment of time and a half is concerned. In the CEO's letter, it was stated that there was not sufficient time for consultations to be held with Cabinet and the Labor Advisory Board to discuss the requests made by BCCI. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with Marcelo Blake, President of the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Our request really is, one, we acknowledge that in fact the day being observed on Monday is one that the Chamber can support and does support. But we look at it that does come with a cost because it's now a holiday, a national holiday. And so if you look at your Labor Act, there are sections that speak to national holidays and what must be paid to an employee. So automatically time and a half comes into effect. And so what we've done is asked that the ministry consider the waiver of that time and a half, because it is allowed under the Act, Section 119, to allow for an exempt to be done by the minister and allow for that day to be paid at regular rate.
There was a response from the Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Labor nonetheless. How satisfied are you guys, if any at all, with the response given, I guess, with respect to the timeliness of this request?
I don't think there was sufficient time given for us to lobby as actively as we wanted to, but what we did is we have written the letter, and the response isn't what we would want, definitely not favorable for the business community, and we continue to advocate through different corridors to see if we can get a positive resolution for the business community.
According to Blake, other mediums could have been used to convene a meeting of the relevant government bodies to discuss the matter of employee compensation. The Chamber President also spoke about the possible financial effects of holiday on business owners who are still recovering from the setbacks by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The response, taken in its parts, looks at Cabinet to be consulted and as well as the Labor Advisory Board. For the Labor Advisory Board, you will note that the letter written by the Chamber was copied to the unions and copied to the government, and so those are all members who are part of the LAB. But in any event, if there was to be wider consultation, we look at the digital transformation that the government continues to promote and push. There's an opportunity to put that into active effect of showing the public that in fact matters that are of national importance should actually allow for them to go to a platform like Zoom or Teams to be able to have a discussion collectively virtually for a resolution to be made. Just the same, if Cabinet needs to consult, it doesn't have to be an in-person. We must look at the opportunities as we move the country further and advance in technology, that we are using those tools that are available to us.
This request was against the backdrop that the business community is still very much rebounding from the throes of the pandemic.
Exactly.
Speak to us on that.
Businesses are trying to pull themselves out of where the pandemic left them, and so adding this level of cost without having the opportunity for businesses to plan for it does put you slightly lower into the hole than you were. So you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel climbing out, and then now you're hit with this blow of an additional cost. Businesses now will have to take a decision of whether or not they operate or don't.
In our newscast on Thursday, we erroneously reported that the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry was seeking a cancellation of the upcoming holiday. We are on record to acknowledge that the concern raised by the business community was in respect of wages to be paid out to employees on that day. While the topic going into the extended weekend is the payment of wages for persons who are working on Monday, the statutory holiday in observance of the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, the leader of the opposition has weighed in on his views of the monarch. Shine Barrow joins the chorus of parliamentarians who have spoken out against the monarchical system. This afternoon, in an interview with the media, the UDP party leader described the effects of the monarchy as a nightmare rather than a fairy tale for countries that were colonized by England.
I totally agree that we need to move beyond the monarch. Many of the government ministers have expressed such. I definitely commend the Minister of Education for using his platform on the Battle of St. George's Key Day stage to talk about the horrors of colonial life, colonialism, colonization. I see many nations calling for the Crown of England to return all of the diamonds and all of the jewelry that they stole from these nations that they colonized. So this PR to romanticize the British monarchy, this delusionary romanticization by some people is unfortunate, but for me there is no question. I have no fond memories of colonialism. Certainly, I believe many parts of Belize still suffer from colonialism. Certain ethnic groups in Belize suffer more than others because of colonialism. People will never get the government that they deserve in Belize because of colonialism. We don't need any king or queen as our sovereign. There is no British Defense Act or Pact to guard against Guatemala. If the queen is removed from our dollar, our currency doesn't devalue. It is all if I won't even say fairy tale, it is a nightmare that some people just refuse to let end.
While the leader of the opposition is not fond of the monarchy, he is resolute in his conviction that all Commonwealth countries should do away with the age-old system and that King Charles III should instead provide reparations to countries that were once colonies of England.
For Belize, that only had all of her wealth extracted, for Belize, where when there was emancipation, slave owners were paid, but those enslaved were never given anything. You know, I don't have any fondness, I don't have any admiration, I have nothing kind to say about the crown. Now if Charles were to say, listen, we will, because in Barbados, when Prime Minister Motley moved to a republic, King Charles was there, and he admitted to the crimes of slavery and what a stain on the history of Britain it is. But that is not enough. I would like to see King Charles voluntarily move the monarch from the Commonwealth nations and see the Commonwealth nations elect one of their own as maybe the president of the Commonwealth, and for King Charles to voluntarily pay the reparations to the Commonwealth, then I could say, oh my goodness, that is someone that I admire, who has atoned, who has demonstrated contrition, and we could move forward.
There is much more news after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Missionary Henry C. Morrison and his wife spent 40 years serving the Lord in Africa. On their way home, they wondered if anyone would remember them and be there to welcome them home. When their boat landed at the New York harbor, there were thousands of people there with signs reading, Welcome home. The bands were playing, the people were cheering, and as the ship docked, the red carpet was rolled out. Little did they know that President Teddy Roosevelt of the United States was also on that ship returning from one of his big game hunting expeditions in Africa. Soon the president and his wife and others disembarked from the ship, and by the time they disembarked, the crowd had dissipated and there was no one there to greet them. Being heavy-hearted, they checked into a cheap hotel for the night, and Henry Morrison said to his wife, Honey, I just don't get it. 40 years you and I poured out our lives for the Lord, and yet we come home and not a single soul cares enough to welcome us home. This man returns from a hunting trip and everybody is there to make over him. Later that night, as Henry Morrison was pouring his heart out in prayer to God, God seemed to say, But Henry, you're not home yet. So dear friend, when life seems to be so unfair and ungrateful, just remember, you're not home yet. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
The Grid Expansion Program is a BL-funded program which provides power supply to rural communities and urban areas across the country. Many communities have been impacted by this program over the years, such as Laguna and Jordanville in Toledo District, Crooked Tree and Northside Kikaka in Belize District, and Viva Esperanza in Corozal District.
11 years ago, when this village was started, they had a little generator and it worked, but the power cost like $3 a kilowatt. They had 10 hours a day of power. And now with this BEL power, there is no more limitation to anything. As my business, I can have my welder weld, I can have the grinders work. Now it's so much better. Okay, and another thing, from this 11 years of this community here, it seemed as if this community didn't really grow, but now that we have this power from BEL, it is like if some people open their eyes. We keep having questions. Is there property available? Can we move in? The power is a key for the progress here. Very thankful for the help from BEL.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Leader of the Belize People's Front, Nancy Marin, has been invited to be a part of an international observer team that will oversee the upcoming elections in Brazil. The movement is a member of the Foro de Sao Paulo, a conference of left-wing political parties and other organizations from primarily Latin America and the Caribbean that was established in Brazil in 1990. Currently, the president is Jair Messias Bolsonaro, a retired military officer who was elected on January 1st, 2019. His opponent will be Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, commonly known as Lula, who served as Brazil's 35th president from 2003 to 2010. Nancy Marin shares her thoughts on what her participation in this event means for Belize.
To me and to Belize, more than to me, it means a lot because it means that somebody is getting experience, somebody is learning different systems and not just learning it in theory, but learning it firsthand, having the experience to monitor, to see the entire process, and then having the experience to see, how it is evaluated. The aftermath of the elections we'll also see. And in January, we go back again when hopefully President Lula is reinstated. And we will have that experience as well. But I think that it means a lot because of the seat that I now have in the Constitutional Reform Commission. So it is important for me to really learn these systems so that we can find a different system that we can adopt where it will give us cleaner, fairer elections.
The resignation of Martin Aldana from the Redistricting Task Force has raised serious questions about the alleged politicization of the ongoing redistricting exercise. Aldana, a statistical analyst, stepped down as a member of the working group, citing that the reason for his resignation is, quote, "My observation that the work of the task force is being influenced by actors outside of the task force," unquote. This afternoon, opposition leader Shine Barrow discussed the issue and called for the removal of PUP Senator Colette Montejo, that is, from the task force. Viewers would recall that the United Democratic Party objected to Montejo's appointment as field supervisor for the redistricting process.
The Briceño administration got elected on a platform of strengthening democracy, depoliticizing the politicization that they accused the Barrow administration of doing. And with Colette Montejo as one of the senior members of the redistricting exercise, Colette Montejo is not just a PUP senator, but who is in Guatemala with Jorge Espat, giving out school bags to alleged Belizeans who are supposed to be registered in his constituency, but according to the People's Representation Act, you can't be registered in a constituency if you don't even live in Belize. Not if you're living at a constituency. Because a lot of people who might register in a constituency, but they don't move and they never transfer. These people don't even live in Belize.
Opposition leader Shine Barrow led a fact-finding mission to Gales Point Manatee following Cabinet's decision last week not to allow any mining activity near the community. Along with Barrow were former area representatives Beverly Castillo and John Saldivar. Among the many issues discussed with residents of the village is the ongoing water crisis. Here's what Barrow told reporters about his trip.
The water is contaminated right now as we speak. So the cabinet is saying how they are with the people in Gales Point, then fix the water problem that is in Gales Point right now. Gales Point is in a very deteriorated state. So how much does this cabinet care about the people in Gales Point? You know, there could be other special interests involved. You know that there's a lot of corruption historically in this country, where if you are not prepared to pay to play, then you can't play. And that's how they use the Belizean people as pawns. Oh, well, the people don't want it, but that's because maybe Vulcan, as a multinational who has done business all around the world, is not prepared to engage in any nefarious activities to bring something to the table that they believe would be beneficial to the country as well as to them. So I don't buy that narrative that this is what the people of Gales Point want. So that is why the cabinet won't support it, and it is still a very irresponsible approach. It should be that the government is a mediator as administrators on behalf of the Belizean people to say, okay, this is your problem, constituents of Gales Point. All right, Mr. Vulcan, this is what the people in Gales Point are saying. What are you going to do to address this issue?
After the break, Patriotism revitalized at the Belize City Children's Rally 2022. We'll have that and more when we come back.
¿Qué es Amnistía 2022? Una oportunidad para los inmigrantes indocumentados que viven en Belice. Belice quiere ayudarte a vivir libremente y continuar contribuyendo a las comunidades que usted y su familia ahora llaman su hogar, al ofrecer un camino hacia la residencia permanente. ¿Por qué debería aplicar? Al hacerlo, elimina barreras y reduce las dificultades que enfrenta viviendo como inmigrante indocumentado. Aplicar es fácil. Visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz para obtener más información. Puede verificar si califica, cómo presentar una solicitud, qué documentos necesita y cómo hacer una cita. Prepárate, el plazo de inscripción será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre 2022. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of inches you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Everything must come to an end. A much needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Good evening, Belize, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast prepared by the National Meteorological Service. I am meteorologist Shana Young. Dry conditions prevailed across the country today, with only high-level clouds observed over the northern parts of the country and only isolated showers affecting the mountains this afternoon. What can we expect for tonight? Another increase in showers and thunderstorms is expected over Belize City, Dangriga, and also Placentia, while lighter showers will affect Belmopan and Orange Walk tonight. The dry spots will be over the Corozal and District and also San Pedro. Taking a look at tonight's low temperatures, the cool spots will be over Belmopan and also Orange Walk, while warmer conditions can be expected over Belize City and also San Pedro. Taking a look at tomorrow's weather, during the daytime, a few showers and outbreaks of thunderstorms will continue to affect Belize City, Dangriga, and also Placentia, with lighter showers affecting Belmopan and Orange Walk in the north. Highs during the day tomorrow will range from the upper 80s over Belize City and also San Pedro, while inland 92 degrees Fahrenheit is expected over Belmopan and also Orange Walk. Taking a look at the 4-day forecast for this weekend and early parts of next week, a few showers and periods of rain with isolated thunderstorms will continue to affect most areas on Saturday, with a decrease expected late Saturday night into Sunday. However, another increase is expected late Sunday night and goes into Monday, with showers and thunderstorms being mostly over the southern locations. On Tuesday, conditions will become relatively dry over most areas, with only isolated showers expected. Taking a look at the tropics, over our area, conditions continue to be relatively quiet in terms of tropical cyclone development. However, thunderstorms was observed over the southwestern Caribbean Sea and also over the Yucatan Peninsula. Over in the tropical Atlantic, Tropical Storm Fiona continues to move to the west and has become rugged during the course of the day. This system continues to pose no threat to Belize at this time. Taking a look at the marine conditions, winds will be from the east at 10 to 20 knots with waves of 3 to 5 feet, and sea conditions will be choppy. However, tomorrow a decrease in winds is expected at 5 to 15 knots with a similar waves of 3 to 5 feet. Taking a look at the astronomical conditions, there will be a low tide at 7:47 tonight, followed by a high tide at 1:52 tomorrow morning, and another low at 10:02 in the morning. The moon will rise at 10:33 tonight and will set at 12:11 tomorrow afternoon. In the morning, the sun will rise at 5:41 and will set tomorrow evening at 5:53. Join us again on Tuesday for another weather report and forecast prepared by the National Meteorological Service. I am meteorologist Shana Young.
Hey Mike, do you have Atlantic Insurance phone number?
What? You don't need that. They have an app. No.
Sure.
With the Atlantic Insurance mobile app, you can request a quote, access your policy information, receive timely notifications of when a policy is about to expire, file a claim and upload pictures, and even view all our office locations, obtain direction, opening hours, and place a call to any of our offices.
That game changer. Correct.
Download the free AIC mobile app today and get instant access to everything you need. Available in the Apple Store and Google Play. For customer support, please call 613-8518 or email mobile support at aicbelize.com. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
For the past 2 years, it has been held virtually. But today, thousands of primary school students converge at the Belize City Civic Center for the annual Children's Rally. The event is used to celebrate the patriotic season and to instill in the students Belizean pride. Elsewhere across the district, students marched around their school compound and received treats to celebrate the Battle of St. George's Key Day and Independence Day. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports on the rally.
Over 3,700 primary school students from upper division classes across Belize City converged at the Civic Center to participate in the 2022 Children's Rally.
This is a patriotic activity. It's an activity in which we bring the students across our city to participate in a patriotic activity, one that promotes who we are as Belizeans. The nearby schools, they walk here to schools from a distance. They would come via the bus and they come here for the rally, but the individual schools are also having their own patriotic activities. So for our Belize district, all our schools are having activities that promote who we are as Belizeans. Yes, on their compound. After the rally, the students at the schools, they receive a treat, like back in the days. So they would get a treat, and then it's usually half day.
It took the team at the Belize District Education Center about 2 weeks to put the rally together, collaborating with the Institute of Creative Arts and the Belize City Council. Mayor Bernard Wagner was the guest speaker for the rally.
It's awesome and fantastic opportunity. Whenever we as leaders could be in the company of our children, right, the future leaders of our country, it's always given me a cool seat to be able to interact with our children, especially after they've gone through that horrific 2 years of not being in school and having to learn how to interact virtually. And it's always good to face-to-face. I am a person of having face-to-face interaction. And today is just a mere example of what our children has been missing out for the past 2 years.
Also participating in the rally were students from Stella Maris School. Teacher Cherie Salgado says that it was an exciting moment for her students.
Every year we participate in the Children's Rally. We have been locked up for 3 years, man, and the excitement on our students' face, not only our students from Stella Maris, but the excitement on these students' face, it was amazing because we have been locked up for 3 years, so we're outside.
No. Part of it is also about them learning more about their country and being patriotic and all of that. Is this part of something that you guys teach to them?
Well, of course, it's natural. Every September, you usually teach about the Battle of St. George's Key. We tell them about our Independence Day, and we go over who is the Prime Minister, etc.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
On Thursday, the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, was a recipient of school supplies from a U.S.-based group facilitated by Egla's Training Center in Belize City. The Y, as it is also called, has been providing youths with educational and developmental programs for decades. When we caught up with her at the handing over, Executive Director Dr. Clara Cuellar told us that COVID did not force a shutdown of their facility. She added that families with young children who are not in school can get their children in the infants division at the Y since they have space.
We stayed open the entire time except for the 1 hour. We just reduced the service. It was quiet. We have been blessed with some donations of gently used laptops from different organizations, and we had designed and put our students on Moodle, and those students are now leaders because as we bring back everybody, which we are doing right now, they already are used to the protocol both for COVID as well as the distancing in the classroom. And again, we formed a close knit of between 7 and 10 leaders that are going to now affect us. The biggest celebration we have at the Y right now is we have 9 students and who have been with us. The least amount of years is 5 in that group who are now in first form. And while obviously they are heavily impacted by the 2 last years that was under COVID, they're a close-knit family. They're Y, in and out. So as we brought back the full scheme, they're there. They've been with us from like standard 2 or standard 1, and that's huge to have that kind of retention and a support for students. So we look forward to helping them bridge the gap to make sure they're better ready for second form.
Belize won bronze in Honduras. The Under-19 Central American Male Volleyball Championship was held in Santa Rosa de Copan, Honduras this week. Team Belize won the bronze medal, the first bronze in the nation's history in this category. Team Belize also took home 5 individual awards for Best Scorer, Second Best Spiker, Best Server, Best Opposite, and Best Setter. We heard from a few members of the team, courtesy of the Belize Volleyball Association.
To this tournament, we were prepared for it through the help of Coach Hughes, Coach Wallace, and Coach Emil, the Cuban coach. We feel that we were well prepared, and as captain, I had a lot of energy and a lot of drive to perform my very best and to make sure that I lead this team to place in this tournament.
I feel good about my performance. It felt good having the crowd cheering against us and us getting points one by one. We worked hard and ended up coming in with a bronze medal. For next tournament, we shall do better.
Basically, making history, I feel like this is a moment Belize have been waiting for since a good while. Since the first game, we have been thriving from beating Guatemala. That's a big win. That's already a history for Belize. But getting a medal in this youth category, I think it makes me feel great in a sense. And I hope, I'm proud that we as a team continue to unite and continue to strive and forward, because I know that there are more medals to come.
Comedian Oliver Samuels will be performing live at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts on September 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The upcoming show is entitled Guilty Without Explanation, written and directed by Patrick Brown, starring Oliver Samuels, Tesfa Edwards, and Lakeisha Ellison. The entire event is being presented by Jankono Productions. Founder Sandra McKay stopped by our studio to tell us more about the show.
I believe you, Sean.
What? You believe him?
Mr. Samuels loves Belize. He's been here on at least 4 occasions that I know of, and I have been a part of bringing him here for all those years, starting way back in the 1980s. So why Belize? He loves Belize, and Belize loves him. He's always well received, and he's well received everywhere he goes. Oliver is an international star, an international performer. He's now in his 50th year in theater, and so that's a big part of the celebration. This is a brand new production that he's doing for his 50th, and it's written and directed by Patrick Brown of Jamaica. If you heard me with the Rotary plays over the past 18, 19 years, Patrick Brown has been the playwright we've used the most because he has donated those work to us. So we know the quality of Patrick's work because we've had sold out audiences for it. So picture Patrick and Oliver combined in Guilty with Explanation, and you know you're going to get an explosive performance. It's going to be at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. It's next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 23rd, 24, and 25. The tickets are available at the Bliss or by calling 6318183 or 6548660 because you might be out district. You can't come to the Bliss. Call those numbers, text those numbers, order your tickets, deposit to Jankono Productions Heritage Bank 9141308 and send us a copy of the deposit. We get the tickets waiting for you when you come, or if you want to send somebody to pick it up. So you don't have to worry if you can't get to the Bliss. We have that worked out for you, or if you want to go over to the Bliss, go ahead. The point I want to make in this interview is that tickets are going. Somebody called last night for one particular segment of the tickets. We have General for 25, Reserve for 50, Premium for 70, and the VIP box was 100. But the VIP has been sold out now, so you can't get that. But you can get the other areas.
When we return, an update in the parking meter pilot project in Belize City.
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
My name is Dr. Marcelo Coy, and I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist at Belize Medical Associates. Pregnant women are at risk of getting infected with the COVID-19 virus and are at higher risk to develop severe complications and illnesses. The COVID-19 vaccine is safe to use during pregnancy. All pregnant women should get vaccinated to protect themselves and their newborn. Visit any vaccination site and get vaccinated.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Today, the Perdomo family, makers of Travelers Liquors, introduced their first international rum at the Travelers Liquors Heritage Museum in Belize City. The new product is the result of a partnership with a European businessman, as News 5's Marian Ali found out today at the launching ceremony. Here's that report.
Travelers Liquors, a family-run liquor company that was opened by Omario Perdomo in 1953, today introduced its first bottle blend for the international market. Labeled Belizean Blue, the elixir is a mix of rums that are aged for up to 7 years, as master blender Jaime Mayito Perdomo explained.
We needed to do 5 or 6 different samples to send to this guy Jaco in Europe because he wanted a good blended aged rum. So we looked at the inventory that we had at the distillery, and I came up with like 5 or 6 different blends. And he picked what is Belizean Blue today, right? It's a blend of some of the finest aged rums that we have aging at present right now.
Perla Perdomo explained that Travelers Liquors are well known in Europe for their products, but the brand was not well known. She said that a partnership was set in motion from back in 2012 when Jacco Kroon, owner of 731 Fine and Rare Rum Boutique in the Netherlands, attended an expo in Europe. And this alliance should help to familiarize Europeans with the Travelers brand.
Jacco came to our booth and tasted some of the rums that we had taken there that came out straight from the barrels. We didn't have blended rums or any of our brands. And he enjoyed the rum, but he didn't approach us about a partnership till a little while later, after we had already gotten into different partnerships and we were already bottling private label rums from about 5 or 6 different companies in Europe. And so in 2019, he approached us because he felt that Travelers was not getting enough recognition as a brand in Europe. One of the things that he proposed to us is for us to create this brand together.
Perdomo said that the family decided to also offer the rum on Belizean shelves. But how should this $90 bottle of rum taste when you pop the seal? Travelers Quality Control Officer Odair Quetzal describes it.
This is a signature blend, so you have several different components, all of which are Travelers, I would refer to as premium products. And just to describe the product a little bit, no, it's a dark aged rum with hints of coconut and vanilla. And the taste, it has a very sweet and spicy aroma. Among other things, Travelers aged products has a unique characteristic that because it's aged and because of the process in fermentation and distillery, you can always find hints of both caramel and oak.
The rum's flavor is one that the company recommends is best appreciated if it is consumed on the rocks rather than in cocktails. This is the preferred taste that Perla Perdomo said people have been choosing in recent times. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner says that it feels good to be outside again with so many activities happening across the city. The council has also been working with law enforcement agencies to ensure that most activities, including concerts and parades, occur without incident. But with restrictions basically lifted and there is a sense of normalcy, we asked the mayor if that is being reflected in the revenue stream at the council. Mayor Wagner says while the revenue flow is still not where it was pre-pandemic, they are doing their best to manage the resources that they have.
When compared to previous years prior to COVID, we are seeing a gradual move towards a positive inflows. We are not where we want to be as yet, but certainly with good management over those resources, we are able to work those income that we are receiving and spread it out in an equitable fashion.
It's been almost 6 months since the Belize City Council embarked on a parking meter initiative and proceeded to install the devices along the entertainment strip on Newtown Barracks and in downtown on Albert Street. While in some cases it has been met with consternation, the pilot project is not yielding as much revenue as expected. Nevertheless, Mayor Bernard Wagner says that so far the project is a success. He says some adjustments had to be made.
Fantastic. It's been going pretty well. Not in terms of revenues, but in terms of equity in the place, in the space, in the parking spaces. So while we are not looking at the revenue, it has really smoothed out, and that residents traveling in the DigiPark area and downtown Belize City now have equal opportunity to enjoy that space, where before it was only the taximen who were enjoying that space. And if everything is thrown aside and the only thing we come back out with parking meters is having the opportunity to spread the equity in terms of that space, we would have won.
And can you give more or less how much revenue has been generated from it?
I believe the last time we had spoken about it, it's minimal. It's not something to talk about. We did our early estimates annually on it, our projections, but we had to redo those projections because we are looking at something like 35,000 a year on it, based on where it is going right now. So we had to really revamp those figures to have it reflect the on-the-ground results.
And expansion possibly of?
Well, this pilot project is for a year. After the year is finished, we will assess it and we will identify and see if we can begin to really get some of those other spaces around the city that is city-owned and have those spaces be shared equitably with all the residents.
We have not reported on any impasse surrounding garbage collection, and that is a good thing. But this responsibility, which lies solely with the Belize City Council, carries a hefty price tag. Discussions have in the past included a proposed garbage bill, but that was met with objection and it never materialized. Today, Mayor Bernard Wagner told the media that garbage continues to be a struggle for all municipalities and they are searching for the best solution.
Garbage will always be an issue. It's not only in Belize City, it's in all municipalities. Garbage costs money. And each time a resident throws a bag of garbage on the ground, it costs the city, right? And it's free. And it's your garbage at the end of the day. We brought that to the table, I believe late last year. It did not reach the caucus in terms of getting support. So we are working along with our local government. And it's across all municipalities. There is this move by the Belize Waste Management to begin to work along those stations that they have built, where they have spent millions upon millions of dollars, and that they are not working as efficient as they would want it to work. But so we always ask the residents of the city to be a partner with us, right? Begin to do your part, right? Be civic minded, be city oriented, right? Be national oriented and work along with the city.
Illegal cattle ranching along Belize's western border persists 5 years after the first reports were made. This illicit activity is taking place within Belize's forest reserves and has become a huge concern for members of the conservation community as it is leading to the clearing of large portions of land. The main culprits are purportedly neighboring Guatemalan ranchers. Recently, Friends for Conservation and Development, FCD, and the Belize Defense Force agreed to partner in improving the strategies being employed to deter these activities along the western border. FCD is now calling on the Guatemalan Armed Forces to do its part within Guatemala's territory to prevent these acts of incursion. News 5's Paul Lopez takes a closer look at the situation.
Since 2017, a marked increase of illegal cattle ranching has been observed along the Belize western border. Over 2,000 acres of land are occupied by cattle. Rafael Manzanero, Executive Director at Friends for Conservation and Development, has concluded that neighboring Guatemalans illegally placed them there to graze.
The discussions about cattle ranching has been ongoing for the last 5 years. I can say at this stage that it has been an advancing activity that covers approximately 2,300 acres at this point, that we have measured in terms of the advancement of this activity in the Vaca, in Caracol, and the Chiquibul area.
Most of the land within these reserves is considered to be harsh terrain, but this has not stopped enroachers from utilizing the land to rear cattle. This practice is distinct because it is the only illegal activity along the border where a domestic animal is brought into Belize's territory.
What we have been able to do over the years, and in more recent days, have always been really of cutting the fences, removing the posts, but that has had some deterrence but certainly that has not been able to halt the activity. Many of these areas are also remote for the context of Belize, which is one of the mobilization of forces of units in there are not really that simple. I think people really would want to believe that you can reach there on a vehicle. Well, that is not really the case. In fact, the discussions of bringing out the animals from there is really something that even cowboy would have the experience on the ground that it's not so simple really to just drag an animal out from there.
Wandering cattle are taken away from the area by nearby residents on the Guatemala side. The cattle that remain are left to freely roam the reserve. FCD Rangers partner with the Ministry of Defense and Border Security, the government arm that is tasked with the responsibility of securing Belize's borders. Together, they carry out joint patrols along the frontier.
Belize Defense Force doesn't work by itself. So we do have other agencies that are working together with us. We have, in that area, we have the Archaeology Department, we have the Forest Department. We also have NGOs that work in that area. And they work with the communities on the other side of the border as well. So it's a effort that is not just being led by the Belize Defense Force. We do provide the security, and as you rightly said, we do have strategically placed along the border many of those conservation posts that patrol and ensure that we are safe.
In 2014, the Joint Belize-Guatemala Commission held a meeting in Guatemala City. There it was agreed that both countries would increase their collaborative efforts in combating illegal activities along the shared border. At the time, the primary infractions were illegal logging and clearing of lands for agricultural purposes. Former Minister of Foreign Affairs Wilfred Seddy Elrington is on record speaking about the outcome of that meeting.
At the meeting, it was agreed as follows: to improve existing patrols and include joint coordinated military patrols. So there have been ongoing military patrols on both sides of the border. The Guatemalans patrol on their side, BDF patrol on our side, and then they meet up periodically. This agreement now was to improve those patrols and then to conduct joint coordinated patrols so that they work closer together in patrolling the border.
With the emergence of illegal cattle ranching almost a decade after the agreement, Manzanero says Guatemalan armed forces have not held up to their end of the commitment.
The Guatemalan armed forces have been advised and have been informed also through, of course, the Belize Defense Force that there is cattle. The Guatemalan armed forces knows about also the cattle ranches and the cattle pastures inside of Belizean territory. So, of course, the question is then, so what are they going to do? Well, frankly, I don't think they are also at that level of where you can see the impact of a deterrence. So that, we certainly know that is not really, a best option, at least at this stage. I hope that the government is also having the open discussions with their counterparts in Guatemala at that level of diplomatic, relations, where it needs to be known also that Guatemalan energy and support will be required really to handle something like this.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Just ahead, classical composer Francis Renault speaks the language of music.
What can't be seen but protects us from the sun? It's key for our survival. Plants, animals, everyone. For many years, we didn't realize our fridges and hairstyles were harming it. But 35 years ago, we started fighting to protect it. We're talking about the ozone layer, the huge hole we created, and the Montreal protocol that was put in place to fix it. We've achieved so much through this global treaty. Phasing out ozone-depleting substances was a successful remedy, but some replacement substances are just as harmful to our climate as before and more. So we had to find new solutions to which we all needed to commit. The Kigali Amendment asks countries to phase down some of these. Coolant gases called hydrofluorocarbons, better known as HFCs, while they don't harm the ozone layer, they're powerful GHGs. This amendment is also pushing us to innovate in the cooling sector, building more efficient, affordable systems, making refrigeration better. This in turn is helping us reduce food loss and waste everywhere, creating food systems that are stronger, with more food to be shared. And in the midst of a global pandemic, a tough and deadly plight, these cold systems are playing a role in advancing our global fight by keeping vaccines between 2 to 8 degrees as they travel across the globe. They're protecting people from the virus and helping to bring hope. The Montreal Protocol is so much more than ozone protecting rules. It's also about finding sustainable ways to keep us, our food, and vaccines cool.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
My beautiful Belize, my land of the free, my home and it's bound by the Caribbean Sea. Valiant and bold, proud we are strong. Belize we rebound at age 41. Belize we are free and independent. We're free and independent, free and independent to be whatever you wanna be. Free and independent, we're free and independent, free and independent. We're changing our country, we're free. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart. So make we celebrate with smart. Come celebrate with smart. Make we celebrate with smart. Let's celebrate with smart.
The entire Smart family wishes all Belizeans a safe and happy September celebrations. Smart, bringing people together.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for financial literacy journalism.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
¿Qué es Amnistía 2022? Una oportunidad para los inmigrantes indocumentados que viven en Belice. Belice quiere ayudarte a vivir libremente y continuar contribuyendo a las comunidades que usted y su familia ahora llaman su hogar, al ofrecer un camino hacia la residencia permanente. ¿Por qué debería aplicar? Al hacerlo, elimina barreras y reduce las dificultades que enfrenta viviendo como inmigrante indocumentado. Aplicar es fácil. Visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz para obtener más información. Puede verificar si califica, cómo presentar una solicitud, qué documentos necesita y cómo hacer una cita. Prepárate, el plazo de inscripción será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre 2022. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Garantizamos contener a los pacientes que allí estamos manejando y disminuir riesgos de infecciones para el resto del hospital.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Everything must come to an end. A much-needed vacation, or even a good book. What about the world? How will it end? Should we be worried about the end? Frightened even? What does the Bible actually say about the end? Tune in right here as we discuss the end.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
During the month of September, patriotism is at its highest as we celebrate Belize's independence. Notable songs for the festivities ring out and radio favorites are played the entire month. If you look forward to this time of the year, it's hard not to mention Francis Renault's contributions to the fore. This week's Look on the Bright Side took Sabrina Daly to the Bliss Institute, a second home to Frankie Renault.
Prominent classical composers, including Ludwig van Beethoven, Johann Bach, and Mozart, are names you would recognize if you appreciate the world of classical music. The names of these virtuosos are etched in history for their contribution to music as we know it. In Belize, the maestro is Francis Renault.
For me, I am very lucky because I think in some ways I understand music as a language, and that's what people usually, they spout that out. But I do, and so sometimes when I look at people, in some ways I read them almost like I'm reading those black dots on the score. Those look so ridiculous when you see music written there, but out of that, you create a world of wonder.
Francis Frankie Renault is a classically trained Belizean musician known for using his gift of composing to create timeless works of patriotism. The love of Belize can be heard in his music, which has been performed by well-known Belizean singers like Lord Rayburn, Leela Vernon, and Tanya Carter. Music is Frankie Renault's destiny.
That's how it all started. The piano was actually on location, and I was only 3 years old. And it seems that one morning, my guardian, the lady who brought me up, I called her my mother, she heard sounds coming from the piano, and rightly or wrongly, but thankfully, they thought, what's going on? He's playing a tune. And I believe the story, as far as it goes, was it's a band that was passing along the street the day before or something, and I was sitting there trying to find the notes of this tune that they were playing.
The child prodigy would later amass skills that deem him a musical phenomenon. At the young age of 16, he composed and wrote Mass in Blues, a collection of songs dedicated to the passing of his late music teacher. It's a spiritual expression that describes the stages of grief using a choral collective of supporting singers. One notable performer on this project was Jennifer Lovell.
He is a genius. He is a genius. He hears music in his head. He hears the whole band in his head. And then he would write the music based upon what he was hearing. I was always fascinated with that. He is a perfectionist, still is. And so we had to have our diction had to be correct. We had to sing properly so everyone could understand the words. Be on key. So we dreamed the music, literally. It really was.
You know, when you're doing these things, you don't actually think. You just do it because you have to do it. And you move on. It's when you look back, then you say, oh, how did that happen? And sometimes I look back and say, my God, how did I write that at that age?
Frankie Renault would later contribute masterworks in numbers through notable productions like We Are Belize at 25, Song for the People, special renditions of the national anthem, and Motown Memories.
Once I had this idea of memories of, as one of the concerts was called Motown Memories. And once I got that, I thought, right, let's also feature all the local talent, which we have quite a lot, and get together and do the show. And it went down a real treat. It's been always packed in here. Sometimes 2 nights we had the show. And so this became a yearly thing. And it will, I can say now, continue next year.
Stick together. And we're still discovering new talent. Every time he comes, we bring some, new people in, and he's still discovering new talent. And he's really good about showcasing people, letting all Belizeans see the talent we have if we work hard.
Wish you a happy anniversary, 25 years going strong.
And his desire to impart knowledge and technique onto local artists has garnered him a great deal of admiration and respect. Jackie Castillo is one such person.
If you listen or if you read music and you read Frankie's music sheets, you will be in awe to understand that he hears every single instrument, he can compose every single sound. What you see on stage is just the finished product, but the genius that goes behind that level of composition, and for us to be a part of that, it puts us indelibly in Belize's history as musicians, because he doesn't work with any and anybody. If he works with you, it's because he recognizes you have a talent, whether you're a vocal talent or you're a musician that plays an instrument.
I mean, over the years, I've realized in some ways that it's impossible for me not to be without music. I think there's hardly a day that's passed that I have not touched the piano.
The language of music is one that few can speak, but it is felt by many. Its universal reach allows us to understand a song's story through emotions. Francis Renault, the storyteller, is the gift that keeps on giving.
Francis Renault.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.